but now members of the African diaspora say they are awaiting further communications from the government of Ghana on the new timelines and modalities for the Ghanaian citizenship application process for historical diasporans, which is now being suspended. In a joint statement, the Ministry of the Interior and the Diaspora Affairs Office announced the temporary suspension of the program, explaining that the pause is intended to allow time to refine the procedures and also to ensure some smoother and more efficient experience for applicants when the process resumes. We can now give you a breakdown of the statement that you see on the screens now, pointing to the fact that the Minister and by extension the Ministry of the Interior and the Diaspora Affairs Office is now informing the general public that the current application process for the Ghanaian citizenship by historical diasporans has been temporarily suspended. Now, this pause is part of a joint institutional effort, the statement says, to further streamline and enhance the overall experience, ensuring that the process becomes even more accessible, efficient, and also user-friendly for brothers and sisters across the diaspora. And the statement continues to point out that both institutions remain fully committed to welcoming members of the global African family home and those who are working collaboratively to introduce refinements that will make future applications smoother and more seamless. Revised timelines and also updated guidelines, according to the institutions, will be communicated in due course through official channels. And of course, the statement concludes by saying that they appreciate the continued interest, enthusiasm, cooperation of all prospective applicants and look forward to resuming the process as the statement is pointing to. I want to bring in now Jonathan Kuyamwa, who is a member of the Ghanaian diaspora community. You recall that just late last year, the government held a diaspora summit where, of course, key on the agenda was issues of the diaspora and how to integrate them back into the African society. Jonathan, for the African diasporans who are hoping to complete their applications, in the shortest possible time, it appears that that would no longer be happening. Can you give us a sense of how they are feeling now as we speak?
Well, first of all, good evening to all of your cherished viewers. One of the things that was really a big problem for the diasporans was the communication that came out stating all of the guidelines and the requirements to be a citizen for the diasporans. And some of it had things like DNA testing, astronomical fees that people had to pay. And so there was an uproar by the diasporan community, which is very strong and very active here in Ghana. And they requested a meeting on Sunday with the Minister of Interior and as well with the President's Office of the Diaspora. And that is what brought about this new communication where everything is being put on pause until they can get direct feedback from the diasporans and also to be able to streamline the process for diasporans to become citizens. It's something that is major here in Ghana as everybody is trying to relocate to Ghana, trying to get their roots here in Ghana. And Ghana has been very welcoming. And so they don't want to move away from that. And so I think that's why they put a pause on this. And it's just a temporary pause. They will be opening it back up very soon, as soon as they get some feedback and to get away from these requirements that they had, such as DNA testing and things of that nature, which is unheard of.
Yeah, I see. Yes, do you see enough engagements taking place with the diasporan community as of now?
Pardon me, what did you say?
Do you see enough, say, proactive and consistent engagements on the part of the government with this community and persons who have been affected as a result of the communication?
Yes. They've been very active. When the diasporans got together and they held a meeting with the minister's office as well as with the president's office of the diaspora, they responded. They heard their pleas. They heard their questions. They heard their complaints about things such as DNA requirements to be a citizen. And so that's what brought about, again, this pause. They want to make sure that the diasporans do have input in the new process and make sure that it's streamlined. Yes, sir.
Streamlined, you say, government says, is part of a broader reform process. Speaking of that reform, what kind of expectations do members of the diaspora now have about possibly a new interface that we'll be having in the coming months or days?
Well, I think that they're expecting a smoother process, clear definition of what is required to be a citizen. And then once those things are put out, I think the whole process will become very fast again, because the diasporans are doing so much here in Ghana. You know, we sometimes hesitate about people becoming Ghanaian citizens, but we have so many diasporans here that are doing so many wonderful things. Many of them are becoming development chiefs in communities, bringing resources to communities, and so it's really a good thing for the government of Ghana to be engaged with the diasporans and to make sure that there is a process for them to become citizens.
And personally, you've been coordinating a number of events and activities with the diaspora community to empower lives and communities in rural areas. We'll speak about that shortly, but many do not feel that you, those in the diaspora, are contributing enough to this community. But do you agree and side with the fact that no tangible results has been made out of granting citizenship to historical diaspora?
Right. And you know, one of the things is there's always good and there's always bad in every situation. But, you know, with me being in the diaspora and being very connected to the diaspora community, I'm seeing so many things that they're doing that is so positive for the people of Ghana. Just recently, over 500 AKs, which is a D9 organization, came to Ghana, providing millions into the community for tourism. Just 2 years ago, the Sigma Gamma Rose brought 300 women to Ghana, and they donated over $150,000 for community service throughout Ghana. And so they're not just coming to do tourism, they're coming to be active. People are buying homes. They're looking at how they can be, as I said, many of my friends have become development chiefs recently by building toilet facilities in communities, boreholes, and so many other things. So I think this is great for Ghana. Besides the bad apples, which you have in any situation, the diasporans are a really great thing. They are brothers and sisters, no matter how you want to slice it. And so I think it's great that Ghana is opening up, and it's great that they heard their requests and the issues they had with the requirements. And now that they've put it on pause to streamline, I think it's a great example and a great message to our brothers and sisters overseas that, you know, you're welcome back home.
As we speak, you're currently running a Team CSR project targeted at communities, rural ones, of course, in the country, together with the diaspora community. Are these projects going to be affected as a result of what's happening now?
Well, I don't expect it to take a long time, you know, and you know, I am an NGO and I am Team CSR Ghana, and we're just doing so much things all over Ghana. As I speak, I have diaspora friends that have raised over $70,000 to build a school in Kuntanase. I mean, they're just doing so much work that regardless of the citizenship situation, which I'm sure will be resolved, they still want to give back. They still want to be, you know, want to help communities. And so I think it's a positive thing, what they want to do. And I think that it's very positive that the ministry and the government actually sat down to hear their complaints and decided to put a pause on the old requirements, which were just not conducive for anybody.
And you want this to happen soon? How soon?
Well, we're hoping very soon. We're hoping in the next month. This is not really a long process. It shouldn't be a long process. Their requests and their concerns were heard, and I think they're going to go back to the table and make sure that they change some of these requirements sooner than later. You know, we have a group that was supposed to go over and become citizens in March, and I think that process is still going to continue, and hopefully they'll still be able to do that, meet that deadline in March.
We'll wait to see what will happen then. Jonathan Akuyama joining us from Team CSR. Grateful for your time. From the team here on Connect Africa, I'm Blessed Oga. Until then, log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there for you. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.